Welcome, trainers, to our second season playing through each Pokemon generation. We have conquered the Johto region and are making our way through the Kanto region again. My name is Chris. I'm the last trainer, and I'm playing Pokemon Crystal. I'm also joined by my two fellow co-hosts.
My name is Sean. I'm the Fire Breather trainer, and I'm playing Pokemon Gold.
And my name is Dustin. I'm the Gentleman trainer, and I'm playing Pokemon Silver.
And we are known as the Trainer Trio.
In our last episode, we defeated the champion of the Elite Four and the father of dragons, Lance. In this episode, we are going to start tackling the post-game of Gold, Silver, and Crystal. That includes getting on the SS Aqua and taking a trip from Johto to Kanto and arriving in Vermillion City, where we might find Dustin's rival.
Ooh, exciting.
We're going to start touring all over Kanto again, starting with Vermillion City, going to Route 6, Saffron City, Route 7, 8, Lavendar Town, Rock Tunnel, Routes 9 and 10, the Power Plant, Ceruluen City, Routes 24 and 25, Route 5, Celadon City. Basically, we're going to go through about half of the Kanto region here and face Lieutenant Surge, Sabrina, Misty, and Erika. Boys, are you ready to jump into it again?
I guess so.
I'm excited to revisit the Kanto after we've already become champions of Johto, so I'm really looking forward to see how much they've advanced in the past 3 years.
We become champions of the Johto region. The credits roll, and we find ourselves back in New Bark Town. Professor Elm calls us and asks us to pay a visit to the lab, where he gives us the SS ticket to board the SS Aqua in Olivine City.
How exciting. Going on a new boat, a new adventure.
I know, and from Oliver Olivine's home city too. Who would have thought of that?
It's a beautiful port city, and it will take us to another port city, to Vermillion City. But first, we're going to hop on the SS Aqua, and there's a couple trainers that we can fight here, and a little side quest that we have.
I did not like the side quest as much. Basically, there's a granddaughter that was missing on the ship, and you had to search all over the ship just to find this granddaughter. There's like a sailor who blocks your path, and you have another side quest now where he says, oh, can you find my buddy? He won't let you pass to try and find this other girl before you find his buddy. And it's just, for me, it's so annoying that now you have to find 2 people on this boat.
That's a little strange, asking a stranger to find other strangers. Ask a, authority figure, not a kid on a boat.
I know. This was a weird plot. And I think I started to do this out of order because I want to say I went around the ship. I went into my room first, but I think you had to talk to a couple people to get everything going. And then you had to go back to your room. And I was a little caught off guard here. And let me tell you, this was the first surprise I got when we beat the Elite Four. We are the champion. We were facing level 50 Pokemon. And I thought, wow, we're going to get started here with the post game and some really strong Pokemon. And then I realized the Pokemon we're about to face are about 15 levels lower than what we currently are.
Yep. For whatever reason, in this generation specifically, most of the Pokemon I feel are just so underleveled. It's crazy.
This was definitely a shock to me because I went around facing every trainer as I normally do, and none of them posed a threat. One of the trainers had a Mr. Mime, a Magmar, and a Machoke, and so that's a good combination of Pokemon, but they were all level 29. And I'm thinking to myself, level 29 Pokemon in Red and Blue were Pokemon that we were facing around the 6th gym, not in a post-game situation.
The note I put was, it's kind of cool this time when we go on the boat, it actually takes us somewhere. Because last time, you just went on a boat and then it left once when we left. And now we're actually going somewhere.
I did note when you go into your room and you go to the PC, it does show you the Hall of Fame now, which is pretty cool. So you guys see all the Pokemon you used to beat the Elite Four. Moving on with the story, when you do find the girl, she appears to be in the captain's quarters. And thought that was kind of dangerous that she's distracting the captain of this ship, basically.
Yeah, and I think she says that she's safe, but she's bored, and she's trying to get the captain to play with her. And I think this is when I also started to realize that the developers created the idea for Kanto and getting to there, and then backed themselves into little plots so you would stay on the boat a little longer. I don't know how well developed this all was.
When you do return the granddaughter to her grandfather, he does give you a metal coat. So it's at this point that you would actually get the metal coat compared to Sean getting metal coat the hard way.
Then again, look at how many hours we had to put in to get from when I got the metal coat, that was after the 5th gym compared to now. Like at this point, at the end of the games, it would make more sense if the post-game trainers were strong, where it'd be like, okay, yeah, I need to upgrade my party. But it's just not the case. So it's just like, why go through the effort to, train up an Onyx at this point to add it to your team? Because it just doesn't matter now. I guess we'll see when we discuss more about the Kanto region, but at this point, it's really hard to convince me to change any of my Pokemon party. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, yeah, totally. You better bet that Shuckle is staying on my team.
Oh, no.
That's on you.
Otherwise, one last note I have of the SS Aqua is that after this, the ship only sails on Wednesdays and Sundays. So the only way you're getting back now is either you fly to the Elite Four and basically make your way down to Johto, or you take this boat back on one of those specific days to Johto at this point in time.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that the boat does have like a schedule, but could also be kind of annoying, but cool.
Moving into Vermillion City, as you guys knew, gentleman Oliver Olivine, he's from Olivine City, and his prime rival, Vincent Vermillion, is from Vermillion City. A news reporter came to Oliver when he came to the city and asked, like, oh, what are your first comments, coming to your rival's land? And this is what he had to say. Vermillion City, the so-called port of exquisite sunsets. A bit gaudy for my taste, but I suppose it fits dear Vincent Vermillion perfectly. Loud, chaotic, and always trying too hard to outshine others. The lighthouse is charming, quaint even, though it's a little bit more of a street lamp compared to Olivine's proud beacon.
Whoa, that's a dig.
And this harbor, impressive in its ability to cram as many boats as possible into one place. Still, I'll admit those sunsets are almost as lovely as Olivine's sunrises. Almost.
I stand with Oliver. I mean, there's been a plot of land that they've been trying to develop in Vermillion for around 3 years, and they still haven't propped it up yet. So there's clearly issues in Vermillion.
Hey, don't put that on Vermillion. That's on the government backing. They're still trying to get the grants for that.
That's where all our Poké dollars are going, taxes.
Yeah, that's what everyone wants to listen to. Forget the Pokemon gyms. Let's talk about the economic structure of Kanto.
Clearly more depressed than Johto.
Otherwise, I do have a couple other notes. One of them is if you go up to Diglett Tunnel, a Snorlax is now blocking the tunnel. So that's new. And then inside the Poke Fan Club, there's now a Bayleaf inside the club. So looks like they updated to Johto style Pokemon. And the chairman inside does give you a rare candy if you talk to him.
Other than what you've already discussed, there's not much else to do in the actual city itself, other than go to the gym.
When entering the gym, it's just like in Kanto. So there is a tree outside, and you need a Pokemon to use Cut.
So, you mentioned that we need to use Cut, and I thought the same thing, and I was really frustrated because I didn't have my Farfetch that knows Cut. And then I remembered we already have a surfing Pokemon, so I just surfed around the bush.
I didn't even think of that.
I completely did not realize that.
Well, that's the thing. Our brains are conditioned to think of Gen 1 when we can't surf yet, but I was like, wait a second, we have technology.
Well, I think the thing for me, too, is, I was already planning on not bringing my water Pokemon to the gym, so I didn't have my Thinker, the Slowking, with me. Are we going into, then, what Pokemon we brought in?
So, for the listeners going on this run through Kanto, we are still following the rules where each gym leader, we're taking the same amount of Pokemon. So, against Lieutenant Surge, he currently has 5 Pokemon, which is actually the most we'll be facing against in this league. And talking about Cut, because I know that we could surf around, I did bring in just a level 10 Aipom with Cut. So I'm glad we're not battling each other after this gym, because otherwise I'd be very much at a disadvantage.
I decided, you know what? I have a shiny Sandslash. Let's teach it Cut and let's bring him into the gym. So I decided to do that. And when I brought him in the gym, probably not the best decision for the battles, but I just wanted to use him because he's a shiny Sandslash, which is pretty cool. So I used him for most of the battles. And this is like the first time I was actually using him in my party, and just seeing the little shiny animation each time you throw him out, it never gets old.
I wish I could see that.
I was going to say, I'm pretty jealous. That's for real.
But yeah, for me, going to this gym, other than Aipom, I guess the other most notable Pokemon I used was Donphan. I was trying to get my Fanny up to level 50 so he could learn Earthquake. So basically, I use this as a training exercise, and it's all electric Pokemon. Chris, if you want to go through his team.
Yeah, Lieutenant Surge. I actually thought he had a pretty good team. He had Raichu, level 44, Magneton, level 40, 2 Electrodes, both level 40, and they have the same moveset. And then he had an Electabuzz, level 46. And real quickly, before jumping into any of the battles, did you guys also check all the trash cans before realizing that the door was just open?
Oh, no. Once when I walked in and he said, oh, the thing's down, I'm like, thank God. I hate this. Don't have to do it again.
That should teach me to talk to the guy in the front. Yeah, I didn't realize that at first. So I checked every one and I said, wait, what the heck is going on? And then I just walked to the back of the building and realized, oh, we're doing this.
Also in the front of the gym, if you click on it, it says Lieutenant Surge, the Lightning American. So America is confirmed to exist in the Pokemon universe. But yeah, the actual run for me, like I said, I was using Shine Slash. I mean, my Shine Slash was still really pretty low level, so he couldn't really do much. And then I just swapped into Steelix and it was over.
Yeah, I tried using Shuckle to start, and really I should have prepped for this battle because he has 2 Electrodes that only know Swift, Explosion, Screech, and Double Team, so that's perfect for a Shuckle. But instead he started with Raichu, and I actually thought Raichu was packing a pretty good punch. It kept using Thunder against me, and it was pretty strong. But I took down Raichu with Shuckle, but then eventually switched out to Ursaring, who knew Earthquake. And unfortunately, Earthquake could kind of take them out pretty easily. So that's the route I went.
Yeah, same here. Like, I just only use Donphan basically to beat up all of Lieutenant Surge's Pokemon. And I did eventually get him up to level 50 to get Earthquake.
In my opinion, I thought Lieutenant Surge was actually a pretty decent gym leader. We went through 4 different gym leaders in this session, and I actually thought Lieutenant Surge was one of the better ones in terms of him having 5 Pokemon, all fully evolved. Raichu was an offensive type, Magneton a defensive. I thought Electabuzz was a good ace Pokemon. Not a lot of positive things to say about the Kanto region, but I'll give Lieutenant Surge some props.
I know, that's true. It's like, this is the first gym that you are facing in the post game and kind of gives you the wrong impression so far. And his highest level Pokemon is level 46, Electabuzz. If we go back to last gen, when I was playing Pokemon Yellow, I was facing level 50 Pokemon after the 4th gym, so it's just crazy that we still haven't even fought against level 50 Pokemon right now.
We'll keep on going into it, but I guess the listeners could kind of tell we've kind of lost our enthusiasm going into Kanto. I will say the idea of adding a whole second region after the first is such a great idea. I just think it was very poorly executed because the content here is just so lacking.
Right. I agree. And I think we'll see that as we go through this episode. We're going to count the amount of times that something cool should be there. And then there's some note that says, oh, this is here, but it's not working, or you can't go there.
Well, we do receive the Thunder Badge from Lieutenant Surge, and it actually surprised me that this badge does increase the Pokemon speed, so we're still gaining benefits from badges even in the post game, which I thought was very interesting.
Pretty cool, but I don't know.
I know, at this point.
Exactly, it's too late. Then I guess next we headed up north through Route 6. It is kind of like nostalgic going through Kanto again, but it's just, I don't know. You go through it and you just think, wow, this was so much cooler to explore in the first time around.
We did mention the Snorlax is blocking the other route, so we have to go up to Route 6. There's not a lot there, but back in the day, what we would have done is gone through the underground pass. However, they are saying now that there is an issue with the Kanto power plant, so we're going to keep that in the back of our heads and just go north. And turns out that the guard this time around is not thirsty, so we can just go straight on to Saffron City.
Glad that water that we gave him 3 years ago still lasts.
Saffron City still looks really like massive and cool. You still got a lot of the things from Generation 1, including Silphco, you've got the dojo, you've got Mr. Psychic's home. Yeah, did you guys enjoy a lot of the things that Saffron has to offer.
I love how there's nothing to do in Silphco. That's really cool.
There was a mention of Team Rocket who tried to take over Silphco due to their Pokemon merchandise, but nothing specific there. But you do get the upgrade item from Silphco, so if you guys want to try and evolve Porygon, this is your chance.
Yes, I did like that. I hated that they restricted visitors to the first floor because they don't trust people anymore since Team Rocket attacked. Nice little excuse right there, Pokemon. But I thought it was cool getting the upgrade because that adds in some lore that Porygon was created by Silphco. They created the upgrade, and that can evolve a Porygon. And I kind of think back to when kids were first playing this game, if they would have put 2 and 2 together, that the upgrade would be used to evolve Porygon, because they don't really explicitly say what it's used for. And I really want to get a Porygon too, but I think our days of trading in this game are behind us.
I know. Like I said, I love Porygon 2 so much, but it's just not worth it at this point.
I mean, once only complete, you'll have your Game Boy Color back, Chris, right? We're switching to DS next gen.
Oh yeah, I can trade with myself.
How fun.
I did take some note. There are some mentions here of how the Kanto region has been changed over time. So we did get mentioned that Saffron City is now the home to the magnet train, which we cannot currently use because the power plant's down. And there's also mention of a trainer house in Vermillion City where trainers gather from all over the place. So I'm wondering what that's about. We also hear that there's a new radio tower in Lavendar City. I guess getting with the times as Johto has their massive radio tower. And then going to the fighting dojo, you do find that is empty because we did meet the master of the fighting dojo back in Mount Mortar, but this is where you can get the item, the focus band.
I did like they tied that all together, that is in fact the person that we met in the cave in Johto.
Yeah, but it'd be pretty cool if he came back here and there's something more to do in the fighting dojo than just get a focus band, but that's fine, you know.
This is going to be 7 more gyms of us being upset.
Well, the copycat is still here, and apparently she lost her Pokédoll that we gave her 3 years ago. So did you guys actually complete the quest to get her Pokédoll back?
I don't even think I spoke to her, I'm gonna be honest. I was just so over it.
No, where did you find the Pokédoll?
If you go back to Vermillion City in the Poke Fan Club, there is a Clefairy doll that looks a little suspicious. So you basically like go back, pick it up, you realize that that's the one she lost. And then when you bring it back to her, she does give you a rail pass. And I do want to mention she also mimics the main character's voice in this game. So this is also the time that we see the main character actually talking.
And so I assume once we get the power plant operational, this is the way to go back and forth between Saffron and probably Goldenrod, right?
Yeah.
So then I guess you can go back on boat or you can go on train. And it sounds like the train leaves whenever you want.
Yep, compared to Wednesdays or Sundays. And you also can get the TM29 Psychic. I believe that's from the Psychic House. So that's very useful TM here.
I know. I was a little sad though, because when I got it, my Slow King just learned Psychic by level up. So I'm like, wow, this would have been great if I got it, like 10 levels before.
Oh, I taught that to ESPN immediately.
Yep, I taught that to my Giraffe Rig, Captain Chomp, because I don't think he learns Psychic.
Oh, dang. No, I didn't even give it to anyone because once when Thinker learned it, I was like, all right, I don't got nothing to give it to. Talking about Psychic, there is a Psychic trainer here. Sabrina, the gym leader. This time, she only had 3 Pokemon, which is crazy because I remember she was so difficult in the first gen. And now she only has 3 Pokemon? Are you kidding me?
3 Pokemon, but they are pretty strong. I will say that.
And they did keep the puzzle for this one where you do have to go through the teleporters in each room to try and find her. And one interesting thing here is that they only had 4 trainers, which did she have 9 trainers last time?
You can have 7 because it's a 3x3 grid, but one of them is where you enter and one of them is where Sabrina is.
So yeah, that's again another like downsizing.
Yeah, downsizing. And that one I don't understand. There's no way that you're going to tell me that adding 3 more trainers would have affected the memory, like that they were out.
I don't know, Chris. They added a whole other region to this game. So I feel like that's why there is so much downsizing, because just the capabilities of the Game Boy, I'm pretty sure it was fully packed to its maximum capacity the cartridges just for this game. So I know we're going to be griping a lot, but it's just logistical. I think that's why there's so much missing content in Kanto.
Do you guys know the story behind why like Kanto was added to Johto?
I may have heard a little bit of it, but enlighten us, Dustin.
Cliff Notes version is basically they couldn't really figure out how to get Kanto into Johto, but just because of this one guy, he like basically saved all this memory that they were able to use to add Kanto. Because back in the day, like these games are just kilobytes of data, so you really needed to manage your space.
That actually makes me laugh because, as we mentioned in season 1, Red, Blue, and Yellow, they had almost no room left, but they had just enough space to code in Mew. So they added in a Pokemon that you couldn't even get through normal means. And in Gold, Silver, Crystal, they had just enough space to add an entire region.
And still haven't added Mew. What the heck?
No Mew in Generation 2. Oh, and just confirm, there is no pickup truck in Gen 2. It's in Gen 1, it's in Gen 3, and it's in the Let's Go games. But you're right, Gen 2 had to downsize a pixel of a pickup truck.
Yeah, you're right. Couldn't have any other people theorizing that Mew was under there. Anyways, back to Sabrina. I made note that one of the trainers says that Sabrina was the one who destroyed the dojo, which I don't know if you guys remembered, but back in Gen 1, I said I had a theory that the dojo was the actual gym there until Sabrina came in with her psychic types and took over. I'm basically saying that theory's confirmed now, so I was right.
We can go into her team, though, which she does mention when you first talked to her that she had a vision of your arrival 3 years ago. So really hammering in that 3-year timeline here. Otherwise, her team was made up of Espeon, level 46, Mr. Mime, level 46, and Alakazam, 48. For my battle here, you can only take 3 Pokemon in. I did end up actually using my full team. In this case, I was trying to train up my Rapidash next. Originally, I thought Rapidash learns Fire Blast at level 50, but found out that's not the case. Rapidash actually learns Fire Blast at level 61, but I did end up throwing my Rapidash against Espeon, and Espeon took it out. So then next I threw in my Captain Chomp Girafarig, Psychic versus Psychic, thinking that new Psychic ability I'd be able to power through. But then her second Pokemon, Mr. Mime, took Captain Chomp out. So it was all up to my Gengar. And luckily Gengar is faster than all of their Pokemon, so I was just able to get my Ghost attacks off before they can use their Psychic against him.
You'll see, I have a running theme with all of these gym leaders where I was able to sweep with one Pokemon, with one move. If you take a guess at which Pokemon this was, it was my Umbreon Darkness. The move was just Feint Attack. That is my notes.
It must be nice to have Umbreon.
It is nice. Great.
I also took down this gym with an Evolution. ESPN the Espeon knows Bite, so a very high special attack and a Dark type move. I was able to sweep as well. And I mentioned Surge's team being pretty nice, and I feel like Sabrina's was halfway there. She had Espeon, Mr. Mime, Alakazam, and I thought that Mr. Mime has some decent moves, like it knows Barrier to raise its defense, and then Baton Pass, potentially go to Alakazam, who knows Recover, and Psychic. Some of it's there, but what she was really lacking was maybe an Executor or a Slow King or something along those lines. So there's something more than just 3 pure psychic types. Just like Sean, I swept through it with one Pokemon biting. Disappointing me, Sabrina.
So we do get the Marsh badge, and then we head on to Route 8. And this is where you encounter a door that is actually locked, which was a surprise. If you press A, it mentions that it's locked, which I don't think I've ever encountered a locked door yet in Pokemon until now.
Until the developers didn't have time to code it. I mean, rowdy behavior, because there's a lot of bikers nearby.
That's true. The Kanto Pokemon Federation Trainer Group Biker Gang. That is their lengthy title.
I know we've been talking a little bit just about trainers and their Pokemon levels, but we haven't mentioned this. What is up with the wild Pokemon here? Because you go into the grass, I'm just looking in Route 8, okay? You could get a Pidgeotto that could be level 19 if you're lucky, and that's like the highest level. Like, how are we supposed to even train our Pokemon? And so I mentioned that I had Shine Slash in the first gym, and there's a lot of like areas to use Cut throughout Kanto, so I was kind of using him. And it's ridiculous because I'm pretty sure my Shine Slash has 15 to like almost 20 levels below my other Pokemon. But because all these other Pokemon are so bad, so low leveled, he's able to actually like do stuff. And so I'm basically wasting all my experience on him because I want to use my Shiny.
That's a good point. I don't understand what the point of these wild Pokemon were, because how does it benefit us to catch Pokemon in the teens?
I even make note of the wild Pokemon just because as soon as I saw that first Pokemon was not even close to our levels, I just ignored the grass, basically. And I'm the Pokemon hunter. I'm just ignoring it.
I don't think there's any new Pokemon that we found. There are a couple that are exclusive to Kanto that we haven't seen yet, but I don't even think we've come through one route so far that has anything new.
See, like, I think I get the idea because I'm pretty sure these are like the same levels they were in our first playthrough. And so they're kind of like showing, look, this is what the Kanto level curve is, you know? I mean, conceptually makes sense because you wouldn't expect the levels to be higher because we've already played through it and we knew that. But at the same time, like, this is a Pokemon game. We don't care about continuity. You know, give us some Pokemon to make it actually enjoyable and worth it to go catch new Pokemon to add to your team, because we're not going to be training our Pokemon 30 levels to add it to the team at this point.
What would have been nice is at that rate, they could have just had it where if, let's say, you're going on the boat and then maybe you lost your Pokemon. So then now you had to like take on a new Pokemon starting at low level. Because I think that's one thing about this Kanto region is we have just played through it literally like last season, and now we're playing through it again, but with like over leveled Pokemon. I think one of my favorite parts about Pokemon is just experiencing a new region with low level Pokemon, just trying to get them all up to speed. So that would have been cool if they had some storyline like that to really give it a reason, at least for such low level Pokemon. We move into Lavendar Town, the noble purple town. And this is where a new radio tower was built. And guess what? That radio tower is actually built where the massive grave site was. I would not want to work in that place.
Isn't that kind of creepy?
Extremely creepy. That's like building on like an Indian burial ground. That's exactly what they did there.
What makes it worse too, it's like, at least with the graveyard, it's literally just the ground that has the graves. But in this, it's literally each level had graves. So you're theoretically working in a site that had dead Pokemon.
See, and notice how you said theoretically, because we were able to actually go up and explore it. It would have been cool if we did and we're like, oh, it's the same exact design. But we don't know that because the guard wouldn't let us go up.
Sean, you're being rather insensitive because the Johto radio tower was taken over by Team Rocket. They can't just let people go up there.
The only reason we were able to go up that radio tower was because Team Rocket was there. Before that, we couldn't even go up.
And look, at Silph Co, they're still guarding the tower. 3 years later, they still won't let visitors after Team Rocket.
So let's make a count. So we have the underground pass we couldn't go through, the rowdy one, you have Silph Co, which you couldn't go up, and now the radio tower you couldn't go up. So we're at 3 different things.
I guess where the Pokemon Graveyard went to is now a Soul House, which is just a block down. Inside, Mr. Fuji is still working in the graveyard. And I noticed one interesting comment that mentioned that many chambers can only be entered by Mr. Fuji. So I was just wondering, like, isn't this a place where trainers are supposed to make peace with their Pokemon? And some of these places, I guess, trainers can't even go down to see. Like, what is he hiding there?
You're saying what dead bodies is he hiding in the cemetery? I mean, look, that's a pretty ingenious setup. You know, you have a cemetery that only you could go certain parts in. There's already dead bodies. They're not going to know us to smell. All right, we're getting off topic.
The name raider is in Lavendar Town, so you finally have.
Great, there's a second one.
Oh, did we already come across a name raider?
We did in Goldenrod City.
Oh, so there's 2. I forgot about that. Why is there a second one?
Exactly. Why is there, I don't know, something more important or interesting than a second name raider?
They had to be faithful to the original content.
Did they though? Did they really? All I will say is Lavendar Town in Gen 2 is a downgrade. This is what modernization brings. They tear down a tower dedicated to saying your piece to your Pokemon, put a radio tower up, downgrade. Not a fan.
In the words of Joni Mitchell, paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Route 10. We've been this way before. We know that that's the southern area where you can go through Rock Tunnel. So that's pretty cool. We can go to Rock Tunnel.
I hate rock tunnel.
You're going to walk through a completely pitch black cave, so you're going to have to go back down and go grab a Pokemon that knows Flash. And don't you worry, that doesn't matter because there's no trainers in this stupid cave. So you're just going to go through.
There is not.
You're going to go through with your Repel.
If you're playing on the Game Boy, the Flash doesn't even do anything. You still can't see anything. I was so frustrated at this point in the game because I already got the downgraded Lavendar Town and then I have to go through stupid Rock Tunnel again.
Rock Tunnel, if you use your Repels, you're not going to run into any Pokemon because the main Pokemon are Zubats level 12. Although you can find some okay items. You find TM47 Steel Wing, PP Up, Revive, Iron, an Elixir. So there's some decent items, but definitely not necessary. They could have just found a way to go around Rock Tunnel if it was going to be this boring.
And this is actually where I did encounter some new Pokemon that I did capture. And I guess that will lead into our Pokedex highlight of the episode, Marowak. Marowak, he is one of the Kanto Pokemon, the Bone Keeper Pokemon, and his Pokedex reads, it collects bones from an unknown place. A Marowak graveyard exists somewhere in the world, rumors say. So I'm wondering if maybe those chambers that only Mr. Fuji can enter is actually just a graveyard just for Marowak to pick up their bones.
Oh, now I feel bad for accusing him of murder. I mean, he's really doing something good like that.
He is doing something good because he does have a volunteer Pokemon house. So he does take in abandoned Pokemon too. So maybe we can think of him better light, but still it's just suspicious. Like those chambers, I don't know what's going on.
No, we will not accept any more Mr. Fuji slander on this podcast. He is a model citizen.
Justice for Fuji.
Then we go through Rock Tunnel, hated every second of it. We get out, back into Route 10, I believe. There's a Pokemon Center there, so you could switch out your Pokemon, which is useful. And there's also the power plant that is now functional in this generation. Honestly, though, I think it's still a downgrade. Because if you remember the first time we went into it, it was so big, and there's a legendary in there. Now you go in there is one room. I mean, it's a pretty big room, but still, there's just a couple people you talk to, and you found out that. I guess I'll open it up to someone else because I've been ranting too long. What do you find out when you go to the power plant, Chris?
You find out that someone has stolen an essential piece for the new generator. Therefore, it is offline. And so we need to now find that piece. And as we approach the exit, a security guard will alert us to a shady character that has been seen loitering around Ceruluen City. Lucky for us, that's just the town to the west. And you know what, Sean? Let me tell you, this power plant now has plants, it has computers, it has 2 couches. So you know what? They put a lot of effort into this new power plant.
Where's the legendary bird, Chris? Where's my Zapdos?
There's an Electabuzz.
Not good enough.
And actually, this is really disappointing. You can get a Magneton if you trade a Dugtrio. But in Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, you can only find Dugtrio in Diglett's Cave. So you can't even have a Dugtrio at this part of the game, meaning that when you want the Magneton, you'll have to backtrack and then go back to the power plant, which makes no sense. Anyways, now that we've done all that, we can go to the west.
The only thing I wanted to say on this is I did encounter a Primeape in the wild. And I thought that was cool, so I caught it. But it's just so strange because I remember it was level 15. I'm just like, Mankey doesn't evolve to a Primeape at level 15. This doesn't make sense.
Nothing makes sense anymore.
I did make one note here where at the very end of this route, there is a tree that you need a Pokemon cut. And at this time, I did not have it. So I did have to walk all the way back to the Pokemon Center to pull out Pokemon with cut.
Not me, with my Shine Slash, who's been taking out most of these trainers and wild Pokemon.
I've been running with a Farfetch that knows both fly and cut. It's been pretty helpful. Going into Ceruluen City, it is a shell of its former self. Could you believe it?
Just you wait, because I wanted to see what they would have changed the bicycle shop into. And guess what? It's locked. There's nothing. You can't even go in it.
He moved.
No one moved in. It's just empty property. That's prime property.
I'm sure the first thing that you thought of doing was going to check and see if Mewtwo was still hiding in Cerulean Cave, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I did, Chris, but what was over there when you tried to go into the Cerulean Cave?
Well, nothing, because the cave has collapsed, so you can't go in there anymore. There's even an NPC that tells you that a strong Pokemon used to be there, but no more.
But there is something instead.
Oh, there is something there. I didn't even go there because I talked to the NPC and he said, don't even bother.
There is an item, the Berserker gene, instead, where if you give it to a Pokemon to hold, I believe it increases their attack power, but it confuses them.
Pretty cool concept, because I've never heard of this item before, and I had no idea how it worked. So I used it the first time around, and then I didn't realize it gets used up when you do. So I was like, oh, there goes my Berserk gene.
Oh, yeah. It is exclusive to Generation 2. It says in the game data of Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, Mewtwo is defined to always hold a Berserk gene when encountered in the wild. However, Mewtwo cannot be encountered in the wild in these games, so this data is unused. It does mention even if Mewtwo could be encountered in the wild, it would be consumed immediately, so you would not be able to obtain it in the first place.
I guess we could talk about the Nugget Bridge, which there's no one currently on the Nugget Bridge. But if you go further north, you do find that there is something called the six-pack trainers. For the six-pack trainers, I don't really have any stories of the battles there. The only thing I have noted is after you beat all 6 of them, there is one final guy who basically doesn't give you the prize. Instead, he battles you because he's waiting for you to get tired. Little did you know, I had one Pokemon that beat all 6, so continue to use that one Pokemon to beat him. And you still get a nugget for winning, so that was a similarity.
I don't remember the exact battle or even which Pokemon I used. I think it was the last person we get the nugget, because then he battles you. I think the entire time, just like Dustin, I only used one Pokemon. And then he's like, wow, so impressive. Your team's so diverse. I'm like, were you really watching these battles?
On this route, at the very end, you do find Bill's house, although Bill is not there. It's instead his grandfather. And you can finally get evolutionary stones at the very end of the game.
Did you guys get any of the evolutionary stones?
Not yet.
Wait, so how does it work with him? Because when I went to him, he wanted to see a Lickitung. So I showed him a Lickitung and I got an Everstone.
Yeah, you should be able to show him Oddish, Staryu, Growlithe, and Pichu for Leaf, Water, Fire, and Thunderstones, respectively. So what you kind of were supposed to do was go into the gym, and that's where you find the thief. He stops you for a moment to make sure you are not hurt and mentions how it would be a problem if he was seen by anyone, and he orders to forget about him and rushes off.
So after you find him in the gym, you head out, you go onto the Nugget Bridge, and that's where you encounter him yet again. And you find out he's actually a remnant Team Rocket member. And he challenges you to a battle. I don't even remember which Pokemon he has. He was so forgettable. Easily take care of him. And then that's when he finds out that you've already disbanded Team Rocket again when they're trying to rebrand, I guess. And then he disappears.
Does he give you the machine part?
Nope. He tells you that he hid it in the gym, in the water.
Why did they have to add little puzzles like this?
Have to have something here because Lord knows there's nothing else. So you have to go back to the gym, find the part. And when you find the part, have to go all the way back to the power plant, give them the part, and then they give you Zap Cannon, which is a horrible move anyways because it never hits.
The gym doesn't even have anyone inside too when you first enter it. So Misty is out somewhere. You do find out after you have the power back on that apparently she's on a mystery date. So to find Misty, you do have to go up to Bill's house, and that's where she is on this date with the person. The person noticing you just immediately runs away, and she calls you a pest for interrupting their date.
This is where I didn't naturally go back to Route 25. I'd already explored it, so it took me forever to figure out that Misty was on a date.
I was getting frustrated too, because I said I came up here, couldn't find Misty, had no idea what to do, explored it all. I'm like, okay, well, I guess maybe she's at the power plant or something. And that's when I went to the power plant, found out about the missing part, went back here, struggled to find the grunt, finally find him, take him down. I'm like, okay, now Misty's back. No. And then I had no idea she was on a date. I was just getting so fed up trying to find her. She's the pest here, not us.
The only reason you have a hint of where she is if you talk to one of the NPCs right outside of the gym, I believe. But yeah, you basically find her. She goes back to the gym, ready to battle. And in this case, she has 4 Pokemon. She has Golduck, level 42, Quagsire, level 42, Lapras level 44, and Starmie level 47. I did not have any trouble in this gym, so I didn't really take any notes.
All I know is I was not able to just one-shot everyone because I started with my Pika Fluff, took down Gold Duck easily, and then she sent in the Quagsire. I was like, well, there goes that strategy. Then I swapped into my Milkers and just finished her from there. You like my Milkers, Chris?
It catches me off guard every time. I mentioned I liked Surge. I actually thought Misty was the strongest of all the gym leaders we faced because the issue that I had with Sabrina having all monotype psychics was not a problem with Misty because she had a water ice Pokemon, a water ground, a water psychic. So, for example, I had my Chica, the Meganium, and Lapras knew Blizzard, Starmie through Ice Beam, so it actually downed Meganium. And so I was going back and forth between my Magmar Maggie, which knew Thunder Punch, but that didn't affect Quagsire, so I'd have to switch back to Politoed as well because it could resist a lot of the water moves. And then finally, I brought out ESPN to finish up Starmie at the very end because it's a psychic type. It sounds like you guys had an easy time with it, and I don't think Misty's too difficult, but I think that she was probably the best of all of the Kanto gym leaders so far.
And one interesting thing to note here, too, is when we did the Vermillion City episode where I took my full water Pokemon team in, we did share the Lapras and Quagsire. And I did want to add Starmie also to that party, but I couldn't because you can't get, at least in Pokemon Silver, a Water Stone at that point in time. So that's the one downside I had. So my water Pokemon team would have been basically almost the same as Misty's at that point.
And that's Ceruluen, kids.
After this, you do have the chance to get the EXPN card.
What does that do?
If you go to Lavendar, now that there's power on the radio tower, you can get the EXPN card. And what that does is it helps you remove the Snorlaxes wherever they're sleeping.
It upgrades your radio because the Snorlax would normally be awoken with a Poke Flute.
Oh, well, I'm happy I learned this way because I had no idea how to get those Snorlaxes gone. I will say on Route 7, we do get some cool encounters here because I was going through at night and I saw a Murkrow. And I'm like, wow, what a cool Johto Pokemon chilling in Kanto. And so I decided just to see if there's any other cool encounters. And I found a Houndour. I know we had this whole conversation, but I forgot which one we decided was the correct one. But I don't know, because I saw Houndour, I'm just like, wow, what a great Pokemon. I'm sure people would have loved to add on their Johto teams. If only didn't take you, 10 badges to encounter it.
Yeah, that's always one of the biggest complaints that I think Houndour and Houndoom are some of the fan favorite Gen 2 Pokemon, and you can't even get them until about 12 badges into the game.
I didn't even notice that they were there on this route, so I'm going to have to see if I have the energy to go back and capture them.
I know, I'm in the same boat. I didn't capture that many Pokemon while going through here because I'm either planning on doing a last second cleanup right before we're done or just giving up entirely.
Now moving into Celadon City, there is the department store. And this is actually where there is a mention that Porygon can evolve if it has the upgrade. So they do let you know this is the way to evolve it. Otherwise, there's also at the top of the department store, a guy who tells scary stories only at night. And it does seem maybe the reason I didn't find the Pokemon was because I was not playing, I guess, this section during nighttime. So I did not get the chance to actually hear his stories. Did you guys get a chance to do that?
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I did. He tells a little ghost story about someone riding their bike. So he gives you TM03 Curse, which I also think we have already covered how Curse works, but that's actually a pretty good move. It kind of is unfortunate that you get it so late in the game.
There's also a restaurant in Celadon City where they're having a food eating contest. And I got the vibe that you talk to a couple NPCs in there and everyone kind of just says that the Goldenrod City is better than this city, which it kind of is.
It is.
And then if you do look inside of one of the trash cans, you can't get the item leftovers.
Really?
I was hoping you didn't find that.
I didn't.
Why did you tell Sean?
Well, now I need to go get it.
Oh, no. It's one of the worst items in the game. Just throw it away.
Whoa, Dustin said he wants to hear more about strategy and stats. So let's have a little highlight on what is probably universally one of the best held items ever in all of Pokemon, the leftovers. For those of you who don't know, any Pokemon holding the leftovers will gradually recover HP throughout the life of a battle. So it is fantastic for any bulky Pokemon that you could give it to. It's not until very recently when they really buffed up the Citrus Berry where it finally became an item that isn't universally held in every Pokemon. But it is still fantastic, a great item that I would imagine throughout most of our other runs, at least one of us will have the leftovers on a Pokemon on our team because it's just so good.
And I will add, it is not the only leftovers in the game. There's actually one more leftover item that you can find pretty soon after this.
I only need one. Don't need to overkill you guys.
Don't need too much food.
I have one final note inside the city, which is there's the pond beside the game corner. And previously in Kanto, if you cross the pond, this old man would give you, well, I think there was an item there.
He gave you the TM for Soft Boil.
Yes, which can only be used on
Chansey.
Thank you, Pokemaster.
Yes. But now in this game, apparently that small pond is overrun by Grimer. So further adding to the fact that Kanto's just kind of becoming corrupted. Not the best place that used to be.
I was wondering why. I remember surfing into that pond and encountering a Grimer. I'm like, oh, that's kind of sad. You should be fish Pokemon, not pollution Pokemon.
There's the game corner, I think, in this area. I didn't even go inside.
I just wanted to see if there's anything behind the poster. There's nothing behind the poster.
Did you check the poster?
I did, and there's nothing.
Yeah, the text is such a troll. It says, behind this poster, there's nothing. Just side note, the prizes you can get from the game corner in Kanto. In Gold, Silver, and Crystal, you can get the TMs for either Double, Team, Hyper Beam, or Psychic. And then the Pokemon you can get are Mr. Mime, Eevee, or Porygon. And then in Crystal, the TMs are the same, but you can get Pikachu, Porygon, or Larvitar. And get this, the Larvitar is level 40.
What? It's actually worth it, kind of, then.
It is 8,888 coins. Yeah, actually, it's kind of worth it. So, I would add it to my team, but, Shuckle's kind of a mainstay.
Oh, you're taking Shuckle over Larvitar.
What's wrong with you, Chris? The fact that it's already level 40, that's one of the only Pokemon you can encounter at this stage of the game that's actually near our level.
Yeah, that's a good point. What level does Larvitar evolve? Oh, it evolves into Pupitar at level 30. So you level it up one level, it evolves into Pupitar, and then
55.
Yeah, you're right, Sean. 55 for Tyranitar.
Now, I know I've been saying this with a lot of Pokemon, but Tyranitar is easily Gen 2 favorite.
I know that's one of Sean's favorite Pokemon, so that's why I knew, I can't touch that one.
I mean, I already last gen wasted my time getting my Dratini all the way up to Dragon Knight. If you could have encountered a Larvitar earlier in the game, I would have grinded to get the Tyranitar in this game, but it's just not in the cards because that was only Crystal that you could get that. So in Gold, I still can't encounter a Larvitar.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Moving back, I know in the department center, there are TMs. There is a TM for Hidden Power. And because I just wanted to see if it would add any value to my team, I must have spent 30 to 40 minutes of trying to find out the hidden power move on my entire team. And not a single one was a good typing. For all my physical attackers, it was some type of special type move. I know for my Typhlosion, it was a bug type. I'm just bug type, that's so useless. It was just so sad.
Did you have to go up against multiple Pokemon and then make a chart saying, well, it can't be this type?
What I did is there's actually a website that I've used on some of my Nuzlocks to find out the hidden power type. So you start off with finding a bug type Pokemon, and then it says, use it. Is it super effective? Is it not? Is it neutral? And then it gives you a bunch of typings, and by the third Pokemon you encounter. But still, this probably took 30, 40 minutes, not reflective in my time of just spent trying to figure this out, just for it to not mean anything. Let's go into the gym, guys. And this is another one where we kind of need cut to get in there.
And this is the fourth gym of the episode. This is our final one. So let's go ahead and talk about the party that we brought in.
So everyone already knows the surprise MVP of Kanto. That is Shine Slash, the Sand Slash. And he is level 31. Pretty good. And then I took in my Pika Fluff, the Ampharos. It's level 49. So quite a difference there. Everyone's favorite, Milker's the Milk Tank, level 48. And then my starter, Cinder the Typhlosion, who's level 50.
I really only used one Pokemon, so it was a toss-up on the other ones that I were to bring in. But what I settled on was Maggie the Magmar at level 49, who swept the gym. And then my backup squad, which was ESPN the Espeon at level 47, Teddy the Ursaring at 47, and Wagyu the Politoed at 47. So unfortunately leaving on the bench Chica the Meganium and Aw Shucks.
Who had cut on your team, Chris?
Oh, I mean...
Chris, did you take a fifth Pokemon member that cut?
Oh, well, I mean,
Chris, what's going on here?
I brought in a full party, but would only have used 4. So if I would have lost...
Chris, you're cheated.
Chris is cheating!
Chris!
Everyone, shame Chris, he's cheating! Chris, you have to take out one of your Pokemon and use your cut one.
All right, Wagyu's out. Chading the Farfetch'd is in place of Wagyu.
Wow. For this gym and then the one against Surge, it was difficult for me because you have to add in another Pokemon that you normally wouldn't take. But this one's even harder because now we're each going to be battling each other with one Pokemon that's just really underleveled.
What's your team, Dustin? Because I know you didn't cheat.
For my Pokemon, we have Girafarig, Captain Chomp, level 49, Gengar, Rear Admiral Scar, level 50, Donphan, Fanny at level 50, and then I did bring in everyone's favorite. It's been a while since you've seen him. Burret, Commodore S coming back, only level 21. So thought that was going to be exciting. Anyways, let's go into Erika's Pokemon team. So currently she has Jumpluff, level 41, Tangela, level 42, Blossom, level 46, and Victory Bell, level 46. And I do not have any notes here. Do you guys have any notes against this battle?
My note was Cinder Flame Wheel. That was it.
I actually beat this trainer late at night because I was just trying to rush through it. So, yeah, it was Maggie, Flamethrower. And most of these Pokemon also had Sunny Day so that they could potentially use Synthesis or Solar Beam, which also didn't help.
So we did get all of our 4 badges. Currently, first half of Kanto done. So let's move into the Pokestats segment. So we will start off with total time, and we'll start off there with Sean, Chris, and then me.
My total time is 42 hours and 25 minutes.
Real quickly, Sean, can you check how much money you have? I mentioned I was going to mention how much money I have at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I could look at that. I have 42,984 Pokédollars.
My stats now. So time is 48 hours and 14 minutes.
And now for me, I had 62 hours and 58 minutes.
I don't know how you're not burned out.
I mean, this past episode, we've all played similar amount of time, actually. Chris had the least with like 4 hours and 16 minutes. Sean had 4 hours and 39. And then I had 5 hours and 43. So we did actually play all similar amounts. But definitely, this is one of the shorter segments.
And this took us a month to beat. We have not recorded in a month.
Let's go into total Pokedex.
I am at a whopping 58.
And I am currently at 122.
And I'm at 134.
So Sean actually caught the most Pokemon in this segment.
Represent. Because I caught my Murkrow and my Primeape.
Sean caught 6 Pokemon, I caught 5, and Chris caught 4. So looking at our average Pokemon levels compared to last time, since we do have one Pokemon that's lower level than the rest, currently Chris lost the most levels. He lost 3 average Pokemon levels.
It's a fun stat.
I lost 2.7 average Pokemon levels, and Sean only lost 1 average Pokemon level.
Woo! Shine Slash. Been doing work.
that is it for the stats.
Low, last but not least, you know how much money I have?
How much?
273,715 Pokedollars.
What are you going to even use that money on?
Larvitar.
Alright, we're now moving into the Johto Battles of this section. We beat 4 gyms of the Kanto region, and currently our rankings stand where I'm on top with 10 wins and 6 losses, and then both Chris and Sean are tied at 7 wins and 9 losses. And one additional interesting stat I have here is that Chris only beat me once.
Oh yeah, that is so interesting.
I'm interested. I need to hear more. How did Chris beat you once, honestly? That's surprising. I would hope it would be 0.
Alright, so moving into our first battle of the night, it'll be me versus Sean. Let's get against normal type Pokemon.
Nothing.
Like, oh my god, that did a lot.
Sidekick does a lot. Oh, but Return does a lot too. Oh, the milk drink.
Milk drink.
Come on.
No, come on.
Have you not gotten confused yet? Isn't there a chance to confuse with Psychic?
Has a 10% chance to lower the target's special defense by 1 stage.
Oh, so it's not confused.
Oh.
Oh, I crit.
Oh, 2 crit.
Oh, you crit back. Oh, you have the leftovers too.
It's time to roll out.
You tripped poorly. You shouldn't have done that.
Why not?
Because now you're stuck. Oh no, you got me.
Come on, let's do it.
Ah, good job.
Oh,
wait,
don't
wait,
celebrate
wait.
too soon.
I was not expecting.
Well, that's an interesting way to finish.
Going into the first round, as everyone knows, both me and Dustin have a Pokemon with Cut in our team, so it's really effectively just a 3v3. I started off with my Milk Tank. Dustin started off with his Girafarig, and at first, Dustin just kept on using Sidekick, and I just used Return, a bunch of milk drinks, until I could use Return again. And so I was able to take down his Girafarig, and then he sent out his Fanny, the Donphan, where it is very similar. Dustin was using Earthquakes, and I was using Return, but we both had defense curls up. But eventually, I was doing my milk drink strategies again, and Dustin started getting a rollout going, and I couldn't do enough damage to take it down with my milk tank. So then I had to switch into my Typhlosion, and I had a dilemma. At this point in time, Dustin's Fanny only had about 20% life left. So I was debating whether or not if I try and use Smokescreen to try and get him to miss his last rollout, or if I just used a Return to try and take it down. I risked it, used Return, didn't pay off. Dustin's rollout hit, one-shot my Typhlosion, and then I just sent out Shine Slash because I had, nothing better to do. He got one shot instantly with an Earthquake. Now it was my Ampharos against Donphan. Ampharos was actually able to take down Donphan with a Fire Punch. Very surprising. I didn't think I'd outspeed, but I did. And then it was Ampharos against Dustin's Gengar. So first Dustin did a Shadow Ball and I did Thunder Punch, which was crit. So I almost took out his Gengar, and I had 3/4 of life left. And then Dustin unveiled his strategy, which won him the game of using Destiny Bond to take me out. And Dustin won in a very, very dumb way.
Don't sound so excited.
I love the move Destiny Bond because you never know when's going to strike. I want to really make Gengar feel like a final boss. So even if you're able to take him down, he's going to take your Pokemon down with you. All right, now we're heading into our next battle of the night, which will be me versus Chris.
Before we go into that, I want to say just with that win, I think, Dustin, you may have just statistically clinched Johto Battles. No, wait. No, there is still a chance with this round if Chris beats you.
Chris would have to beat you too. So, Chris, you haven't really done any 2-0 yet. This is the episode to do.
You would have to. If not, Dustin may have just won Gen 2.
I got this, guys.
Normal type Pokemon. Would Destiny Bond still work? I shouldn't do it.
I'm not giving you any advice. I hope you lose.
Confused Rays goes to... Oh, your leftovers too. It's a leftover battle.
Oh, everyone has leftovers except me, dang.
Oh, it missed.
Now it
Oh,
misses.
this is not good.
Of course it hits for all my Pokemon.
I don't know what that did, but okay.
To change the strategy up.
It's faster than Espeon, really?
Destiny Bond does work.
It's only for the one turn though.
Oh, it's only for the one turn? Oh, no.
All right. Going into the second match of the night, Dustin led with his Gengar, Chris with his Ursaring, and Dustin kind of panicked, shifted to his Donphan. Honestly, Ursaring's a tank, and Dustin really didn't have any answers for that, so he kind of swapped around a bunch, in the process losing his Ferret and his Donphan. Eventually he had Girafarig up against Espeon. Espeon took that down, and so Dustin just had his Gengar. Was able to take down Chris's Espeon, but again, Ursaring, just kind of a beast. Dustin tried his stupid Destiny Bond strategy, but Gengar actually tanked an Earthquake, which is pretty crazy. And then Dustin didn't realize that Destiny Bond only lasts the turn you use it. So Chris took him down. And I was cheering for Chris the entire time because I hate Dustin how he won.
I only used 2 Pokemon too.
I didn't know Destiny Bond was only used for 1 turn.
Even if, I don't think it would have made a difference because I still had Magmar in the back.
All right, we're moving into the final matchup of the night. This will decide to see if Chris still has a chance of also winning the Johto Battles, but I think Sean is locked out currently.
Yep, I cannot win, unfortunately.
All right, so we'll do Chris versus Sean.
Confused, Ray.
Oh, confused. That's a good tactic. Chris is upping the game.
Now what you gonna do, Chris?
Oh, the confusion's gone. That was a good tactic. Sean just used turning out Miltank for his weak Shine Slash just to remove the confusion.
I have to predict what your next move is.
What do you think it's gonna be, Chris?
Oh,
you got the crit.
Teddy Ursa is the strongest tank, it looks like, of all of our Pokemon. Oh, Flame Will took down Teddy Ursa. What's going to happen next?
I need to hit this.
All right, for the final matchup of the night, me versus Chris, I led with my Milkers, the Milk Take again. Chris led with his Magmar. I went straight into rollout and he confused me and then swapped into his Ursaring. By that time, my Milk Tank gets hit by confusion. Still confused, so I swapped out to my Shine Slash to take a return to get my Milk Tank back into play. And I did 2 defense curls because I was going to do my defense curl to Milk Drink to eventually take down Chris's Ursaring. But Chris gets lucky and gets a crit and takes down my Milk Tank. So I send out Ampharos, got a couple Thunder Punches in before he went down, sent out Cinder, took down his Ursaring with a Flame Wheel, but then I really couldn't take out the rest of his party. So with that, I lost both my games this time. Chris won both of his matches for the first time and still has a chance to potentially win the Johto region, where I have effectively been locked out.
Good job, Chris. That was quite intense. We'll have to see if we have another Game 3 next episode.
That'd be crazy if it's you guys again.
The post-red fight. That's going to be exciting.
See, I knew I had a shot to come back into it, but I knew this one would be a mix-up because we would have the cut Pokemon, severely limiting the team. Just things did not go right for me.
I know, I mean, this was the first time we basically only used 3 Pokemon since our 3rd episode in Gym after Whitney.
At least I have the shiny and no one else does. I'll take the victories as they come.
That is correct.
It is the fall of a champion. That brings us to the end of this episode. Going forward, we will only have 1 more mainline episode, and then we'll have our recap episode next. So you can look forward to that. Otherwise, if you would like to see some cool visuals that I make for our teams and basically the standings too, you can follow us at The Trainer Trio on Twitter. And if you do have any questions or have stories of your own, you can email us at thetrainertriopodcast@gmail.com. In our next episode, we will be talking about our experiences closing out the Johto and Kanto region, leading up to the protagonists of the first generation, Red. Until next time, we are the Trainer Trio signing off. Catch you in Mount Silver, trainers.